J. Cole, The Fall Off, album's out. It dropped. Even on the heels of the birthday blizzard, they dropped the mixtape, and now he followed up with the long anticipated The Fall Off album. A double disc album. The first disc, he had some nice, the intro was nice. The album as a whole, I thought was, I like this one. Had a little bit more flow to it. You really kind of reflect on going back to Fayetteville, North Carolina. It was really more North Carolina influenced, reflective, his point of view after he started on his journey musically, moving to New York, becoming one of the top MCs of his generation, and just dealing with that fame, having the birth of his daughter, influential in his, his thoughts from the beginning to now, and just being reflective once again. And I thought that he had Safety was a nice song that he had on there. Those are just highlights that I right off the top of my head. Safety was one. 2-6 was another one that I really, the first just had a lot of bop. There was a lot of bop to it, and it had a vibe. And again, the backdrop was, going back, looking back at his career from New York, where he's at now, being kind of humbled and just into his music thing, going back to Fayetteville and just reflecting, and then kind of like realizing that, everyone looks at, maybe looking at your hometown from where you're at now, and it's just like you still try to hold on to that love. You still have the love, but you obviously outgrew your hometown now, looking back now. So you're kind of in the zone of where you're at right now. You're like, okay, yes, I've been back. It's cool. Love it. And even dealt with some of the, I guess, nemesis that you had to address, and along with a lot of other people you addressed on this album. But you never addressed that, since your Dreamville speech and situation and battling out of the the battle with the big three, or Kendrick or whatever, and not sparring, you felt the need to bow out of that, and which was unprecedented as far as an MC of your stature, and what you was what you were rapping about. As far as you was doing a lot of features, you were killing features, you were killing rappers on their own songs, and you chose that route, and I think that kind of was shocking, to say the least, and I think it reverberated through hip-hop, and so a lot of people wanted to know, maybe some more insight to after the fact, whatever, I know you were saying you took 10 years to make this album or whatever, but I don't know, a lot of stuff you were saying was kind of, right now, you were talking about right now in the present time, this timeline. So I found it odd. Now, the What If on the second disc 39, was interesting because you took the Biggie perspective of things during that Tupac's assassination in Las Vegas, and you kind of took the Biggie approach as far as Biggie's perspective of how the beef was going, and how he never said nothing, why, his reasonings, and all this, that, and the third. And that was like kind of weird, but you're taking these, how can you take these approaches? I get it, but that's something maybe in an interview I would have talked about, but more or less putting in a song, I get it. He was creative and probably was at your artistic, zone, but I just thought it was in. I didn't think it was warranted. Simple fact that the approach that you took, and to speak on, you weren't really plugged in like that. To speak on that time, um, it's kind of I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me, but hey, I respect your approach. I respect what you was trying to do, but it just didn't land well with me. That's just what I'm saying. I didn't really, I wasn't really feeling it. And so overall, I think from the second disc, I like the Man Above. I like that. Uh, Only You is one that I like. Um, there's a few of them. Like I said, I was kind of like here I was going with where you was going with. I was actually riding around, looking at all the snow covered landscape in my area, and so it was an enjoyable album in that aspect, production wise, to listen to. And but once in more detail in just tracks, they were cool, but nothing that overwhelming. And then the constant sampling. You're doing sampling Mob Deep's Drop a Gem on them, and then the sampling of Outkast. It was just like kind of all over the place at that moment, but it was like you were just trying to, I don't know, it was all over the place, like I said, at that moment, but you got it back together. But overall, I give it a 3.5. Um, and I think that's warranted for a double disc. And I'm not gonna say you should have condensed it or whatever, but if I'm judging overall, I gave it a 3.5. And so check it out, The Fall Off, J. Cole. Peace.